Our story unfolds on a vibrant sunny day, perfect for the event that stirs the city center, an exhilarating archery competition. In the stands, a bustling crowd, adorned with multicolored flags, eagerly watches every move on the field. Our protagonist, a young archer with impeccable posture and confidence, strides across the stadium's verdant lawn, meticulously marked by concentric circles that challenge competitors with increasing difficulty. Announced by the judges as the youngest competitor in the tournament, he absorbs the atmosphere of anticipation that permeates the air, fixing his determined gaze on the target shimmering under the intense sunlight. With a calm bordering on the supernatural, he draws the bowstring and, with controlled breath, releases the arrow that describes a perfect trajectory in the air, hitting the bullseye with precision. The sound of impact resonates like silent thunder, immediately followed by thunderous applause from the audience, rising in a unison of cheers and claps. In the heat of the moment, as some spectators rush to congratulate him, enveloping him in warm hugs and joyful laughter, he is hailed as a genius sent by God. The judges, visibly proud, declare him the youngest winner of the national championship. However, this moment of triumph is abruptly interrupted when a stack of papers hits his face. Suddenly, he finds himself back in his cubicle in the company's office, facing the wrath of his boss, who reprimands him for daydreaming during work hours. With hurried apologies, he crouches to pick up the papers scattered on the floor. Observing the situation, his boss muses aloud about how they could leverage his exceptional skills, especially that remarkable manual dexterity. With a heavy heart, he leaves the office, feeling a mix of relief and tension as he escapes that confrontation. At home, as night falls, he loses himself again in his memory. 10 years have passed since that championship that defined his youth. He recalls how archery was his passion, how he tirelessly devoted himself to training to earn a scholarship since his grandmother couldn't afford the high school cost. His desk, once filled with medals and trophies, now serves as a witness to a glorious but distant past. Haunted by the weight of the years, he immerses himself in the live stream of Full Dive, a virtual reality game that offers complete immersion in fantastic universes. However, the high cost of the capsule needed to play the game is a major impediment. The envy he feels towards the streamer he watches is palpable. He realizes that, despite all his efforts, he remains an unknown. The next morning brings discouraging news. Summoned by his boss, he is informed about the company's restructuring. A proposal for dismissal with financial compensation is presented. Resigned, he accepts, while his boss tells him that his entry into the company was facilitated because of the connections he had, while his colleagues faced numerous difficulties to earn a place there. Returning home, as glimpses of his glorious past flood his mind, a new idea begins to take shape. What if he could relive his archery skills in the virtual world of Full Dive? What if he became a streamer, showcasing his unique abilities to a global audience? Inspired, he begins to outline his future, now envisioning a new horizon, the world of online gaming, a stage where his skills could once again be recognized and valued, a fair space where his talent can finally shine. One morning, the protagonist, Sanghyun, met his longtime friend, Juyuk, at a cozy cafe in the city. The occasion was unusual. Sanghyun was about to share a decision that could change his life. "Are you going to buy the capsule?" Juyuk exclaimed, incredulous. Sanghyun just nodded with a cautious smile. "Are you going to spend all your money just to play games? Are you crazy?" Juyuk's voice rose to a volume that even the barista, accustomed to the morning bustle, couldn't ignore. "You say you've never played a game before, right?" Juyuk continued, his surprise evident. "Yes, but I have a good feeling about this," Sanghyun replied, trying to stay calm. "How can you be sure if you've never tried?" Juyuk insisted, clearly concerned. Sanghyun lowered his head, feeling the weight of his friend's disapproval. "Stop talking nonsense and be realistic," Juyuk advised, his voice laden with genuine concern. Juyuk, a former colleague of Sanghyun, knew well the instability of the industry they worked in. In an environment where few were trustworthy, Juyuk had always been Sanghyun's safe harbor. Coming from a stable family and part of the elite, Juyuk followed a solid path to success. "How much does that capsule cost?" Juyuk asked, trying to assess the situation. "4,000 won," Sanghyun replied. "The device alone costs 4,000 won, and there's still the additional equipment and your electricity bill," Juyuk warned, trying to bring Sanghyun back to reality. Worried but still determined, Sanghyun followed Juyuk to the capsule zone, an imposing building specializing in virtual reality gaming technology. There, they found used capsules at affordable price. An enthusiastic and confident seller showed them a suitable capsule and proceeded to collect Sanghyun's physical measurements necessary to calibrate the device. Meanwhile, Juyuk conversed privately with the seller, who advised him to convince Sanghyun to reconsider. The seller explained that many delude themselves by watching streamers play and think they can replicate the success without considering the physical and mental implication. The game Sanghyun chose was called Real Olympic. Having practiced practiced archery in the past, the seller suggested this modality. I'm closing the capsule, he announced, as Sanghyun prepared for the experience. In the game, Sanghyun found himself on a green field under a bright blue sky, holding a bow. A voice announced, "Player Yoo Sanghyun has entered the arena with his bow." The virtual reality was so vivid that he almost forgot it was a game. The first arrow trembled in his hands, but soon his confidence solidified. He fired a series of arrows, all hitting the target perfectly, and a booming voice announced 10 points with each hit. When the capsule opened, Sanghyun was exhausted but transformed. "That was amazing," said the seller. "It would be a waste if he bought a second-hand capsule like this." While Juyuk contemplated his friend's victory in the game, a flashback hit him. They were at a bar. Sanghyun was sad telling about his promising career as an archer when a tragic accident interrupted his career in archery. Back to the present, Juyuk found Sanghyun crying, overcome by the emotion of the game that reignited his passion for the sport. "So, this is your true identity?" Juyuk asked, finally understanding Sanghyun's determination to pursue this new adventure, not just as an escape, but as a way to rediscover his old glory. "It's been a long time since you shot a bow and arrow. You don't even remember, do you?" His friend's question brought a nostalgic but melancholic smile to Sanghyun's lip. "Haha, how could I forget? I remember it like it was yesterday," he replied, but his gaze was distant, lost in dark memories. The accident that changed everything. The doctor's cold and indifferent expression when delivering the news. The dream of being a professional archer he had to abandon. Those thoughts echoed in his mind as his friend called his name, trying to bring him back to reality. "It's shameful," Sanghyun murmured, more to himself than to anyone else, as his friend offered him a look of understanding and tenderness. Later, in the solitude of his home, Sanghyun was about to embark on a new adventure. He installed the capsule, an advanced virtual reality device, and prepared for his first livestream. "The capsule connection is complete. The program is installed," he announced, full of anticipation. "Looks like I'll start streaming today. Thank God Kong-suk gave me a good discount on this device. I hope it wasn't a loss for him." With the start streaming button in front of him, Sanghyun selected Kingdom Age, a game set in medieval times with realistic combat. It wasn't very popular, but its complexity and authenticity attracted a dedicated fanbase, perfect for a novice streamer like him. As the game loaded, a growing tension took hold of him, a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Suddenly, the screen flickered and he found himself in the midst of a fierce battle. "Hey you, wake up, you idiot," shouted an unfamiliar voice. "Where am I?" Sanghyun wondered, feeling his face sore as if he had been hit. He looked around and saw men in armor fighting furiously. "Are we in the middle of a battle?" he thought out loud, before being interrupted by an imposing Roman captain demanding his participation. "You useless worm, bandits are attacking us. Grab a weapon quickly." Sanghyun looked at the weapon selection menu and hesitated when he saw the bow listed. A notification popped up on his screen, a challenge from a viewer questioning his choice. "A bow challenge? Our bow's not good. Are you new to this?" appeared in the chat, with a viewer offering tips. Determined, Sanghyun chose the bow, despite his doubts. A bow then fell from the sky, straight into his hand. "You got 20 arrows, announced the screen. The captain laughed at his choice. "Judging by your actions, you won't even hit one." But Sanghyun focused proved otherwise. With each arrow fired, he shot down an enemy, until the last arrow eliminated the leader of the bandit, supposedly invincible. The messages in the chat exploded in disbelief and admiration. Headshots after headshot. Was that a bug? How can a newbie pull that off? He killed the boss. "Is it okay to kill the boss?" Sanghyun asked, confused by the reaction. "It's not that it's not okay, it's just not possible. He doesn't die," explained an anonymous viewer. "But you said they all die with a headshot," Sanghyun replied, still trying to understand the feat he had accomplished. Even the captain was impressed, questioning if it was really him who shot the last arrow. Thus, Sanghyun, the streaming novice, began to gain notoriety not only for his unexpected skill, but also for the mystery surrounding his impressive virtual debut. A post was made on social media. The video's title said, "I saw a strange stream today." In the description it said, "A new player in Kingdom, but super good with the bow." Clicking on the video, you could watch the full recording of Sanghyun's incredible battle. Even the game captain was recorded congratulating him for his amazing performance. The comments on the video were full of praise. One in particular said, "Who is this streamer? I don't recognize him." Someone replied to the comment saying that his nickname appeared at the end of the video. At the end of the video, one of the curious players asked Sanghyun his name. He paused for a moment, looked down thoughtfully, and then raised his head with a contagious smile, replying, "My name is Almond." From there, countless searches emerged on social media and gaming forums. Questions like, "Who is Almond?" "Streamer Almond," and repeated whispers of "Almond, Almond" began to dominate online conversation. Although fans of the Kingdom Age were ardent enthusiasts, the community had been facing a phase of monotony, with a a lack of significant events and interaction. The topics repeated incessantly until that post changed everything. The title was suggestive and intriguing, a newbie being praised by the Roman. Sanghyun, under the pseudonym of Almond, became viral on the internet almost instantly. He received an avalanche of comments and shares, highlighting the most striking scene of his gameplay. The impact was so great that he could barely believe the repercussion he had achieved. During his review of the comments, one in particular caught his attention. The boss combat Bao didn't even challenge a veteran like Electron? Intrigued, Sanghyun thought, Electron, that name sounds familiar. He remembered seeing that name on the rankings while researching experienced players and knew that Electron was a well-recognized professional player. The comments emphasized that not even Electron had overcome that challenge. And now I'm being compared to Electron. Sanghyun questioned himself, surprised. I've only done one stream and I'm already being placed on the same level as a famous and experienced player. Is this really happening? His thoughts were interrupted by the insistent ringing of the phone. Kim Jo-hyuk? What could he want at this hour? He wondered before answering. Did everything go well with your stream last night? Jo-hyuk asked eagerly. Thanks to you, Sanghyun replied gratefully. I'm glad to hear that. Is the capsule working fine? The boss was a bit worried, Jo-hyuk said. Yes, everything's great with it, Sanghyun affirmed. And the viewers? Did you get many? Jo-hyuk asked curious. Well, by the end of the stream, I had around 20 viewers, Sanghyun revealed modestly. Jo-hyuk was surprised and impressed by the number of viewers Sanghyun managed to attract on his first live stream. How did you get so many? He asked, intrigued. I think I just picked a good game and got lucky, Sanghyun said, downplaying his skill. Jo-hyuk was impressed by his friend's initial success and the promising potential of his streaming career. However, their conversation was abruptly interrupted by Jo-hyuk's boss, reminding them that they were still on work hours. Meanwhile, Sanghyun was so excited to start his next stream that he barely paid attention to what he was eating. He was eager to feel that thrill of being applauded and judged by the audience again, confessing that his heart raced just thinking about it. Soon, he entered the capsule and clicked on Start Stream. As the live began, a new flood of comments greeted him. This time, the chat was even more lively, and Sanghyun checked the viewer count. 189 people were watching him at that moment. Feeling initially nervous, he quickly composed himself, reminding himself that it was just a virtual world. With renewed confidence, he decided to resume the stream exactly where he had left off the day before. Meanwhile, at work, Jo-hyuk was dealing with his boss's negligence, but he soon remembered that he had something important to tell Sanghyun about the capsule, something related to corporate optimization, but he had forgotten to mention it during the call, and that was why he had called. That night, the atmosphere was calm, and Sanghyun took the opportunity to absorb as much knowledge as possible before surrendering to sleep. Comfortably lying in his bed, he scrolled through the illuminated screen of his phone, immersed in articles and forums dedicated to streaming strategies. The information was vast and varied, covering everything from managing interactions with the audience to avoiding common taboos in the streaming community. One piece of advice that caught his attention said, "Don't let your audience think you're just a streamer." Another suggested, "You have to seem more intimate with your audience, like they're watching a friend play." Inspired by these insights, Sanghyun decided to memorize the names of some viewers so he could thank them personally during his streams, hoping to thus create a stronger and more personal bond with his growing fanbase. The next day, excited with the new ideas, Sanghyun started his live stream with renewed energy. He began playing and soon found himself riding a horse, a scene introduced by Roman, who also introduced him to the leader of the grocery store, entrusting him with a new mission. The game's graphic quality was so impressive that Sanghyun almost felt like he was really riding through the vast digital landscape. During the game, Roman approached and asked if he had ever ridden a horse before, to which Sanghyun replied no. "You'll have to drive a lot ahead," warned Roman with a friendly smile. Viewers were visibly surprised by the warm interaction between Roman and Almond, Sanghyun's alter ego in the game. Comments started popping up in the chat, highlighting how rare it was to see Roman smile or show kindness. "It's very rare to see Roman smile," commented one viewer, "or even never seen him making such a gesture." As the game progressed, all the characters rode their horses in a single direction, until the viewers in the chat began to warn Almond about the possible arrival of bandits. Suddenly, Sanghyun's horse recoiled, startled upon spotting a group of bandits about to attack. The tension on the screen was palpable, and Sanghyun felt a mixture of apprehension and surprise as he watched the fight unfold before his eyes. The stream chat was buzzing, with some viewers doubting his skill and others openly rooting for him to fail the mission. With adrenaline pumping, Sanghyun prepared to respond to the challenge. He knew that his reaction would not only affect the course of the game but also the perception of his audience about his skills as a player and as a streamer. Resolute, he took a deep breath and dove headfirst into the unfolding confrontation, determined to prove that he could exceed expectations and turn doubt into admiration. As chaos unfolded on the screen, Sanghyun, under his alter ego Almond, stood out for his unmatched skill with the bow. He swiftly drew the strings of his famous bow, aimed accurately, and fired. The arrow cut through the air and hit the boss square in the head, an incredible feat that left the audience speechless. The viewers in the chat couldn't believe Almond's ability to identify and hit the boss, even amidst the confusion of other players around and the frantic movement of the battle. The precision of the shot, hitting the target in a single decisive attempt, was a cause for great admiration and surprise. As news of the spectacular feat spread, the number of viewers on Sanghyun's channel skyrocketed to 230. The stream chat became a whirlwind of activity, with messages being sent so rapidly that it was hard to keep up. Comments of praise, applause emojis, and exclamations of amazement filled the screen as new viewers arrived, drawn by the feat they had just witnessed. Master Archer, how did he do that? That was epic. Read the comments as they continued to pour in. Sanghyun felt a mix of pride and emotion as he saw his skill being recognized and celebrated by a community that was growing by the minute. He knew that this moment was crucial not only for the game but also to solidify his position as a streamer capable of delivering high-quality moments and pure skill in gameplay. Energized by the enthusiastic reaction of his audience, Sanghyun continued to play with even more determination and focus.